where are you getting stuck on the script? I think that would be a better use of time, Luis. Like, is it at the beginning in the introduction? Is it a certain objection? Like, hey, look, it's premature. What is it that's causing you to get stuck on this, or where are you getting stuck the most, or are people hanging up on you? What's going on?
If I say the word realtor, they'll slam the phone down, right? In the beginning. If I say the word, they'll slam the phone down. That's one. If I don't say I'm not an attorney, we have an attorney. We're good. We have an attorney. Slam the phone down. Value? No, that's fine. I don't need that. I don't need value. So those are things that, that's why I kind of like preface it by saying.
So let me ask you this. How far along in the conversation are you getting? Are you getting past the introduction?
I'm able to ask the question, have you guys discussed whether you would prefer to sell it, rent it out, or keep it? I ask that question, and then they kind of like give the answer, and most of the time slam the phone down.
Like hang up on you, right?
Yes.
So this is so good. Okay, so a lot of us when we're prospecting, and this is like the biggest challenge that I see, is that you can tell what you need the most help with based on how far along you're getting in the conversation. So like, if people are hanging up on you at the very beginning, what you need is not the entire script, because once you get talking, then at that point, like, you're able to keep them on the phone. Or once you start asking questions, it's more or less like you need help on the introduction. So here's what I noticed on your introduction. And I'm going to pretend like I'm calling you, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm going to pretend like I'm not a realtor, like I'm Zillow. So you said, hi, this is Luis. And you started off with your name. So immediately I'm like, okay, who the fuck is Luis? And then you were like, I'm calling you about the Smith estate. Or can you go over your introduction again?
Yeah, I was calling regarding the Morales.
On it.
Okay. So I was calling regarding the Morales estate. I understand this may be a difficult time for you. I want to start off by saying I'm truly sorry for your loss.
Okay, so what does that sound like now? So like, if I start off a conversation with like, hi, this is Luis. I know this may be a difficult time for you. I just want to start off by saying I'm sorry for your loss. What goes on through your mind if you're receiving the phone call?
Thank you.
Really?
I mean, that's what they say. They say that they listen. They won't slam the phone down when I say that. They will listen.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
To me, I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like, telling me like they are sorry for my loss. That's what goes on through my mind.
But if you got 40 phone calls,
it's like the way I would think about it too, it's like, hey, Luis, John here. I'm sorry that your son was late to school today. It's like, okay, like, who are you? Why are you calling me? How do you know my son was late to school today? So,
yeah.
I at least that's the way it feels to me, basically, when you put it in that context. So I think that there's a different way to do the intro that I think would help you a little bit more, and that would open it up a little bit. So what I usually do is I'll be like, hey, I'm looking for Luis. Hey, Luis, Jose Morales here. I'm calling about the estate of John Doe. Yeah, the reason for my phone call is I know this may be premature. Was just wondering if you knew if the estate was planning on keeping any of the real property or leaning more towards selling it. Or wait. So, hey, I'm looking for Luis. Hey, Luis, Jose Morales here. I'm calling about the estate of John, or hey, Luis, Jose Morales here. I'm calling about the estate of John Doe. Yes, what about it? I know this may be premature. I'm a local realtor. I specialize in probate and trust. Was just wondering if you knew if the estate was planning on keeping any of the real property or leaning more towards selling it. I don't know how I feel about the I'm sorry for your loss right at the very, very beginning, basically. Without, I think that that is something that you say. If they say, yeah, like, it's more of a like they've opened up to you and said something about it, or
Yeah. No,
what are your
I
thoughts
picked
on
up on the
this?
same thing in terms of like the opening. And I understand, because I guess you're
Yeah.
perceiving, Lewis, you're kind of imagining like, oh, if I mention realtor, they're going to hang up on me. I mean, I don't know, dude. I listed 60 of these a year for like 7 years in a row. And my opening was, hey, my name is Aaron. Like, I'm looking to speak to Mr. Morales. Yep. Hey, Mr. Morales, my name is Aaron. I'm a local real estate agent here in blank, wherever the property is. And I was calling because my head researcher pointed out to me that very shortly, if not already, you will be appointed the personal representative in the blank estate. And I realized that I may be, a little premature in some way. I was calling you very respectfully, of course, with regards to the real property on 1265 Banana Street, simply just to find out if ultimately at some point, looks like yourself and your siblings, Susie and Tom, if you guys had decided that you would like to get that home on the market and to get it sold, and then shut up. And in doing so, I'm accomplishing all of those things. Like, to Jose's point, like I'm making it very clear, who am I? Who am I and what is this about? Right? Because if I leave you to think about that, you're like, well, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to come up with something in your own mind. So I'm going to handle that right away. I handled the kind of empathy. Like, yeah, I realized I may be a little premature in some way. I was calling very respectfully. So I'm not saying I'm sorry for your loss, but like, I'm calling very respectfully with regards to the real property on 1265 Plum Street. Simply just to find out if ultimately, at some point, so I'm also creating this environment where it's like, I get it. It may not be right now, right? Ultimately, at some point, if you and looks like your siblings, Susie and Tom, the reason I mention their names is when I do, it just creates more familiarity. If you guys had decided that you'd like to get that home on the market and to get it sold, and then shut up. And they're either going to say yes, no, or maybe. And then from there, we can take the conversation.
Or they're going to say things like, how did you get my information? They're going to say things like, how do you know about the case? They're going to say things like, and
then you answer that very
are you an attorney? Like, or not are you an attorney? They'll say things like, I already have an attorney.
Yeah, and all of those you can just address. So let's say, like, how'd you get my phone number? Well, for better or for worse, when somebody files what's called a petition for administration, which it looks like your probate attorney, John Smith, he filed that on 7/10 of 2025. That's actually public information. So in specific geographic areas where we help a lot of families and do a lot of business, I have an assistant who gathers that information for me. And then I just do what I'm doing now. I reach out to families and find out if we can help or be of assistance in some way. And then just move on, like from there. Or are you an attorney? Like, no, I'm not. And then I handle it the same way. Yeah, like, for better or for worse, when a petition for administration is filed, it's better. That's actually public information. It looks like your probate attorney, he filed that, John Smith, on 7/11 of 2025. So I have an assistant who gathers that information for me in areas where we help a lot of families and do a lot of business. Then I just do what I'm doing now. I reach out to beneficiaries and find out if we can help or be of assistance in some way. I guess I'm curious, because again, my job's to help. It's never to talk you into doing anything. If you had it your own way, because I know, when there's more than, two people in a room, it's a crowd. Everybody has their own decisions. Do you have a preference, whether to hold on to it or to sell it? Like, I just answer it and then I just move on.
What about when people I already have it taken care of, Aaron?
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for your willingness to share. Now, when you say taken care of, my intention in asking is not to be nosy. It's just to see if I could give you any more information that could be helpful or useful in some way. Are you referring to like the probate aspect, or are you referring to like the real property?
So basically getting clarification on that.
Yeah, just clarification.
Which is the same way that I would handle it, which is like what does that actually mean?
Yeah,
like,
what does that mean?
I've already got it taken care of. Like, what does it mean? That could mean so many things. So it's like, at that point when they're being vague, it's like getting additional clarification on what they mean, basically.
Yeah. Adam said, I'm just wondering thoughts. Instead of saying I'm looking for blank, do we assume we're talking to the right person? I don't know. I never assume. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. You know what I'm saying?
So I have a quick question about the intro. My name is Juan. Nice to meet you, Aaron.
Yeah, what's up?
I haven't called probates yet. So I actually just bought data yesterday from Probate Data and looking to call them this morning as soon as we get off this role play.
Good.
The intro itself, oftentimes, again, I haven't called them yet. Do you find you're able to get through that whole intro, or do you have to deliver that fairly quickly to keep their attention before they, cut you off or, like, say, hang up?
Yeah, no, super interesting to me because, and I appreciate your question. I prospected 3 hours a day, 6 days a week for 17 years, right?
Okay.
Tens of thousands of contacts. I talked to 7,000 people in 1 year and got 142 to say yes. So what I'm aware of is I think, behind that question is like this kind of desire for there to be like this, like, okay, if I do this, they're never going to hang up on me. Like, no, it's not. Like, I think, okay, I think everybody on this call would agree, and I mean this humbly, I'm pretty skilled at this, yes?
Definitely.
I spoke to 7,000 people and got 142 to say yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, probably more said yes to an appointment, but we got 142 to like the actual closing table. Now, if you multiply that by $10,000, I mean, it's a lot of money, right? So, but the point being is there's no like magical. Are some people going to hang up as soon as you say agent? Yeah, but guess what? When you take it out, they're going to hang up as soon as you say hello. So, like, there's what we're giving you, and what I'm sharing with you is the exact language that I used to list 60 plus probates a year for 6 to 7 years in a row. So I just know that with a super high degree of probability, if somebody's motivated, it will lead to conversations, but it doesn't mean it works every time. Like, some people might hang up. It also depends on like personality profiles. So you'll notice when Lewis was talking to Christopher, he was like, yo, how much longer is this going to take? That's a key indication. Now, I know Lewis, and I know that's probably his personality profile, as he's a driver. So he's getting bored. So as soon as he says that to me, I'm going to kick into a different gear. I'm going to be like, okay, good. Well, you strike me to be someone who's really bottom line oriented. So what I'm going to do now is we'll go over very quickly and succinctly the strategy on where we need to be at price-wise. I answer any questions you may have. If it all makes sense, we'll take care of the appropriate paperwork. Sound good? Now, I'm speaking Lewis's language because he's like, yo, don't like cry about it. Show me the baby, right? So there's levels to the kind of game. But fundamentally, yeah, dude, like, people would say to me, and again, I mean this so lovingly, when I first started coming up and like, I don't know, started coaching people and giving out scripts, they'd be like, oh, well, it's kind of wordy. And I'd be like, all right, well, how many homes do you sell a year? And then they'd be like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't know. I do like 150 deals a year. So works for me. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just, I think the key components there is what we're talking about. What Jose said is true. If somebody's calling me out of the blue about my son or about somebody who passed away or whatever, and I have no idea who you are, that's going to be the first thing that, like, first of all, who are you and how do you know about this? So in that opening, I ask who, like, hey, I'm looking to speak to Mr. Morales. I'm going to be respectful, not Jose. I'm pretty sure everybody's parents taught them properly. Yes. I'm looking to speak to Mr. Morales. Yeah, well, my name is Aaron. I am a local real estate agent. I'm making very clear who I am. And I was calling with regards to the blank estate. Now, you don't have to be, okay, you know what I'm calling about. You know who I am. Right? And I was reaching out to you because my head researcher pointed out to me that very shortly, if not already, you will be appointed the personal representative in the, forgive my pronunciation, which is also respectful, Morales estate. And I was calling very respectfully, of course, with regards to the real property on 1265 Banana Street, recognizing that I may be a little premature, just reaching out simply to find out if ultimately at some point yourself and your siblings, Susie and Bob and Tom, if you guys had decided that you'd like to get that home on the market and to get it sold. And that's either going to lead to yes, no, or maybe, and then there's a place that you can go there. If you go check out, like, there's a couple of YouTube videos that I've done with Jose where we walk through like this conversation. I also have a course on it where I walk you through like all the objections, how to create urgency when they tell you they want to wait, specifically what to say and how to say it, like this whole conversation so you can master it inside and out. It's a long-winded answer to your question, but how frequently are you practicing?
Monday,
and
Tuesday.
what does the practice consist of? Is it just role play, or is there anything on top of that? Like, are you chanting? Are you writing stuff out?
Role play.
Okay, how frequently? How often?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays at the 8 a.m. one.
Yeah. So, and what I would say to you is like, good for you.
Mm-hmm.